하나님 감사합니다. 토론토에서 또 이렇게 귀한 아이들과 좋은 시간을 보낼 수 있게 하신 감사합니다. 오늘 제 스토리를 쉐어하면서 제가 나타나는 것이 아니라 정말 제 삶 속에서 주님을 같이 발견하는 그런 시간이 되기를 바랍니다. 주님, 이 시간 함께하여 주시옵소서. 예수님 이름으로 기도드렸습니다. Okay, hi guys. Are you guys having a good time? Yes, yeah. Yes, for me, I lived in Vancouver for 7 years, but it's first time for me to be in Toronto, so it's really amazing, and I'm having also a great time here. It's really beautiful here. I never expected anything like this, not even anything close to this. So have you guys been here before, this camp? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, probably like some of you is the first time, and maybe some of you is the second time. Just enjoy whatever you can, right, while you're here. Okay, today I want to talk about happiness. Like, I want to talk about how to live a happy life, because a lot of us, we just do things that just comes into our mind first, not thinking about happiness and purpose of our lives at all. So today I want to talk about happy life. I believe that I'm living a really, really happy life right now, and I want to share how my life has been and what kind of decisions that I have made throughout my 33 years old of life. Okay, so before I start, I want to ask you a question. Do you think you're living a happy life? Okay, who lives a happy life here? Who thinks? Okay, probably like half of you. Raise your hands. And who thinks I'm not that happy right now? Okay, just you. And some of you in the back. All right. It's really interesting because I lived in Korea last 8 years. I started to live in Vancouver in 1997, and I moved back to Korea in 2004. And I started up my business called siwonschool.com in year 2004. That time, I had no money. I had $1,000 in my bank, and that was the seed money for my business. And now, my business is generating the revenue of around 20 million a year. 20 million? Yes, 200억 정도 a year. So, from $1,000, it has grown quite huge. And I have no debt, I have no partners. I work alone, and I have 40 steps who's working for me. And I'm not here to share you how to make money or be successful. It's not something that I want to talk to you about. Today I want to talk to you about the happy life. I was born in 1981. I'm 30 Canadian age, I'm 31 years old, and I'm in Korea, I'm 33. I look much younger, right? I was born in 1981. I was born in just a typical middle-class family. My father was working for the company owned by government, and my mother was working for the hospitals owned by government. So they were just a very, very normal, good Christians. They met in the church, in the youth groups, and they got married, and they had a baby. The first baby was me, and I have a younger sister who's still living in Vancouver, studying for 11 years. 11 years in the universities. Can you believe that? I hated studying, but my sister, she loved it so much. Anyway, so I was born in just a middle-class family. I never had a big dreams at all. So I don't believe in people saying that you have to have a big dream, you have to have big visions to be successful. I don't believe in that. Just I always had a very, very small dream. I just wanted to live a happy life, and I just wanted to be normal. That was my lifetime goal. So in the elementary school, in middle school, in high school, if someone comes to me and asks me like what I wanted to be, I always tell them 회사원. You know what that means, right? 회사원. I wanted to live just a normal life. Because my father, my mother, they lived a very ordinary, just normal life, and I grew up as I think I was a happy kid. Where my sister was not like me. She wasn't very happy living in the family, living in just the same family. Because whenever I had a problem, I was very honest to my parents. But when my sister had a problem, she was not honest to our parents, because she didn't want to let them down. So anyway, I just lived a very I just grew up in just a middle class family. But my parents were very good Christians, and they were really good at saving money. We never ate out until I was in the middle school. 중학교 때까지 외식을 한 번도 안 했어요. So I always had to cook. 아니면은 교회에서만. Our summer vacation was always the church retreat. 그래서 I never experienced so much about other cultures as I was growing up. In the high school, my sister was like straight A students. My family moved to Vancouver in 1997. My father decided to study theology. He gave up on his jobs. My mother gave up on her jobs, and they wanted to do something meaningful for God. And because of my father's studies, our family moved to Vancouver, and he started to do the 신앙 and started 개척교회. And my sister was always like a straight A student, and my B always impressed my mother. You know what that means? With my B, my mother was always thrilled in high school, because normally all the grades that I got was C or C plus or C minus, somewhere around there. So with a B, my mom was like, "Wow, you got B? It's great." And my mother was not that impressed by my sister's A. So my sister was, 좀 그게 서운했다라고 나중에 얘기했어요. I didn't study that hard because I didn't feel like I had to go to a good university to become happy. I felt like I didn't have to be successful to be happy. I just thought that I was just good enough to live a normal, happy life. And then after college, have you heard about the university called FULLNESS in Vancouver? Have anybody heard of it? Has anybody heard about it? Yeah, it's a very small, and probably you haven't heard about it because it's not a good school. It's not like UT, it's not like Waterloo. So it's a very small school. It's like nobody knows that school. Anyway, after the college, I went back to Korea, and I got into this importing firm, and I started to work for the company. And one day, one of my friends who was running an English academy 학원, he called me. At that time, I was only like 23 years old. He called me and he asked me if I could do an English class in his 학원 for about 2 weeks because 빵꾸가 났어요. 빵꾸가 뭔지 알아요? 선생님이 ran away 해가지고 substitute로 내가 가서 2주 동안, 2 weeks. So in the beginning I said no because I didn't feel like I was qualified to teach. But he said it's a big emergency and he could find no one, so he was like, you have to come. So I went to his 학원 and I started to teach English. That's how my career started out. And I realized that in Korea, people have studied for a very long time, at least like 10 years. I taught adults, like college students, and I taught like 회사원들. And they in the evening time, and they were like, they went to like university, which means they studied at least 10 years of English, but they still couldn't speak for 5 minutes. So I was quite amazed by their English because I thought it was kind of a miracle, like studying 10 years and not to be able to speak for 5 minutes. That would be, for me, that would be very interesting thing, right? Like if you, let's say, Isaiah. you study Japanese for 10 years and not to be able to speak for 5 minutes? Would that be possible? Like, think about it. Like, you study like Chinese for 10 years and every day, and not being able to study for like 3-4 minutes. That would be almost impossible, right? And that was actually happening in Korea, so I was quite curious. And I started to throw some questions. Why is it happening? And I realized that the Korean people, like in general, they don't know how to put the vocabulary, they know a lot of vocabularies, but they don't know how to put them together to make a sentence, right? So I started to teach them how to put the vocabularies together, make a complete sentence. That's all I did. And then I had a great time. I had a great time because they were like my age, and after class, I would like to confess to you a little. I went for drinking with them and had a good time. And that time I was free from my parents because my parents were all in Vancouver, so I was there by myself. So I had probably all the freedom that I had. So in college, I never drunk, believe it or not. I never dated anybody in college. So I had, because I was never good at school, but I think I was a good kid. My mom and my dad always had a lot of worries, but still, I consider myself as a good kid. But in college, I had to sleep at least 10 hours a day. You know what that means? That means I had no classes in the morning. I could not go to any classes in the morning because I had to sleep. I go to bed around like 12 o'clock, I get up around 11 o'clock a.m. So I was like really lazy student. And in Korea, I still needed a lot of sleep. But working in a 회사, it wouldn't allow me to sleep that much. And working in 학원 kind of allowed me some time to get some sleep in the morning time. So I quit my job and I decided to go for a full-time teaching. And it was good in the beginning, but after like 4 or 5 months, I started to get tired of talking the same exact things to the same people. Different people. So I was thinking, do I want to do this for a lifetime? I threw one question that changed my life. That question was, how can I make money without working? How can I make money without working? Isn't that a brilliant question? My mother would hate me for saying this to you, but I honestly asked that question. And if I didn't ask that question, I wouldn't be standing here before you guys, because I had to be working somewhere in Korea, right? So I asked this very simple question. How can I work? How can I be lazy and still make living? I don't need a lot of money to be happy, but I need some money to live my life, right? So I asked that question and I was thinking, maybe if I start up a 학원 myself, then I don't have to be teaching and somebody's teaching for my 학원 and I'll be still making money, right? It's a very simple answer, but there are 3 problems that came up to my mind. Number 1, quality control. Like 학원 teachers, they are not like me, they don't teach like me. I was really good at teaching, but maybe they can be, but maybe they can't be. So, and the second, expansion. Expansion is very important for business because if you can't expand, there is a competition coming up, your market share is going to go down maybe at least 30 or 40%. That means your profit margin is going down 90%. So it's, if the business couldn't expand, by the way, my major was business, so if the business couldn't expand, it's exposed to very high percentage of going bankrupt. So I thought about quality control. Second, I had to think about expansion. And third, 학원 needs a lot of like manpower, right? And every single person represents uncertainties, and uncertainty is something that would prevent me from having a peaceful life, which is my purpose of my job. So anyway, so those 3 things I need to find a solution. I need to somehow get over these 3 problems. So instead of just keep teaching and doing something that's giving me that's giving me a hard time. I just stopped it for 2 months. I stopped teaching for 2 months, and I came back to Vancouver, and I started to search for the solutions for those 3 problems. And after like a month or month and a half, I was watching TV home shopping, like knife, jinsei knife or something, jinsu knife, you know what it is, right? Like the knife that cuts, like, I don't know, like this woods and this boards and pipes. I was thinking that jinsu knife was selling all over Canada while they don't have a shop. So I was thinking, if I put my English class on the internet website, that was 2004, and let people pay and watch it, then I don't have to go around and teach, and I can still make money, and people maybe will pay, maybe not. So I started to become very curious, and I came to Korea. But that time I didn't have much of money because in Korea, so my friend borrowed all my money. 아는 형들 여기저기서 사업한다고, and they never pay me back. So I had only $1,000, and that's all I had to start with. And I video with a camcorder. I record my class with 20만 원, 220만 원, 200불, and then I made the website by myself. How? I asked one of my friends who was running a website agency for basic help, and then I got some help, and I made myself a website. I couldn't get a credit card payment. I couldn't get a PayPal. I couldn't get a cell phone payment because I didn't know how to do it. I only got cash. Okay, this is my bank account, and you put the money in, and you just leave a note on our website, and I will open your account and let you listen to my lectures. And amazingly, people started to pay money. I asked for $50 for 2 months. 49,000원. It's not even $50, like $40 for 2 months. And people started to pay. Because I was thinking, if my net sales is under $1,000 for the first month, I have to quit it quickly and find something else. Because that time I was young and I can make a lot of different choices. I wanted to make a choice. I wanted to make a right choice. I wanted to do it quick, and if it's not something that's it's not right for me, or it doesn't seem to have a bright future, I have to make a course change. So in the beginning, so I set the bar at the $1,000 for the first month. And you know what? The first month, it was $1,240 or something. 124만 원. The first month. So, okay, this is something that I want to do. And then, still I got a lot of offers for the English class. I all rejected it, and I just started to dig on siwonschool.com, and now it has the members of like 300,000 now, and daily user view is like 60,000 people are visiting my website. And here I'm at Toronto with you at the beautiful place, the boathouse, and still like this 60,000 of people are joining and looking at my internet 동영상 상자. So I'm living I'm doing a very, very free life. But still, after I became very, very successful and made a lot of money, I got a chance to meet a lot of rich people. Rich but unhappy people. Rich but unhappy. My parents, they were not poor, but they were never rich, but they were always happy in Jesus. And I met a lot of friends who are successful. Everybody knows them, but still they were very, very unhappy. I started to ask questions. Why? Why, with all the money, they are not happy? Why? They got the success that many young people are dreaming of, and still living a very, very miserable life. And I started to ask that questions, and yeah, I think I got an answer very close to that. So, here, I want to ask this question. Who wants to live a successful life? Here, raise your hands. Who wants to live a successful life? Okay. Probably like all of you have raised your hands. Okay, listen. Successful life and happy life, listen carefully, is not related at all. There's no relationship between successful life and happy life, from my observation of the last 7 years. You become successful, it doesn't make you happy. You become unsuccessful, it doesn't make you happy. You fail, it doesn't make you happy, it doesn't make you sad. So they are just two different things. Okay, one day, I was dating my wife. Right now I'm married, and I have my wife is pregnant for 5 months, and she's expecting a girl in this July. Anyway, last year, it was almost 2 years ago. In my office, I had like 7 meetings, and 7 long meetings, and 6 of them went real well, and 1 of them didn't go so well. After work, I was driving to pick up my wife. Back then, that was my girlfriend. I was driving on the highway, 경부고속도로. I was driving, and do you think at that time I was happy or unhappy? Do you think I was happy at that time? Or not happy? 7 meetings, 6 of them went to the direction that I wanted, and 1 of them just didn't go nowhere. So, I was happy or not? I was not happy because of the meeting that didn't go well. I just instantly forgot about the 6 meetings that went well, and I started to worry. I started to have very, very, very complex thoughts because of that 1 meeting. And I realized that, wow, God has designed me in this way. God has designed me this way. We have like 10 different organs. Let's say we have 10 different organs, right? Everything is very, very healthy. And your liver has some problems. That means you are a sick person. You are ill, right? Your heart is very strong. It's not replacing sick liver, right? In order to be healthy, everything must be fine. Not one thing that's outstanding. That would not replace something that is sick. I realized that God has designed me in that way. Our life, too. I always wanted to be happy. And in order to live a happy life, I had to think about what is consisting my life. My life is consisted of what? So I went to the conclusions. Number 1, myself, my body, and my spirit is myself. Number 2, it was people around me, including my family. Number 3, the circumstances that I'm living in. Number 4, the relationship between God, the Creator, and me. So 4 different categories. I divide them into the 4 different categories. 1 is myself. 1 is people and people around me, and they must be happy. Number 3, the circumstances in my life. And number 4 was the relationship between myself and God. Let's look at it this way. If I'm really, really sick, I can't sleep at night. I still love my parents, and I am very, very in good relationship with other people, and still make a lot of money and live a good life, and good with God. But still, I am suffering from the pains of my body, do you think I would consider myself as a happy person? Although I can sleep? No, right? If I'm really healthy, do really good in my work, good relationship with God, but because of me, my family feels lonely and they feel angry, can I be considered as a happy man? No. These two are all good, and good relationship with God, but my business go bankrupt, and I have no money to afford a house, food, nothing. Would I consider myself happy? No. These three things are all satisfied, but if I have no relationship with Creator, or God, then the life wouldn't be so much better. And I've seen a lot of my friends who have become very rich and they still live a very, very, very unhappy life. So I was driving on the highway, I was thinking all that, and I went to my girlfriend's school. She was, at that time, she was a high school teacher. She was teaching Korean. I talked to my wife about all this, and we wanted to do something about this to keep our lives happy. So we decided to set some times for each part of my life. So number one, for our body, we decided to go to a gym every week. So every Monday, for a date, we met at the gym and we exercised and we danced together and a good time. Every Tuesday was Mom's Day, Family Day. Means I'm spending on Tuesday night with my parents, and my wife is spending her nights with her parents. So we were dating all the time. We were meeting like 6 days a week. So 엄마들이 다들 좀 불만이 막 생기기 시작했는데, so we called it a family day. So every Tuesday we spend time with its parents. And number three was me and the work, my work and life circumstances. We are just doing real hard, and we work hard at work. So it doesn't require anything more than what we were doing. And number four, the relationship with God. Every Thursday, we met in the cafeteria and we did a Bible study together. And every Friday, we went to 새벽 기도 together. And every Saturday, we had a lot of things going on in the church. So we set times for each part of our lives, and it was really, really, really beautiful time of. I look back and still I miss that time a lot, because after marriage, like a lot of things have changed, but still. We try to balance our lives to live a happy life. Even if you become really, really successful, and if you become a doctor, even if you become a lawyer or make a lot of money, it doesn't guarantee you a happy life. You have to find the balance, just like your body. Being successful is just one part. It's a small part of your life. It can't be everything that would guarantee you for a happy life. And nowadays, I talk to a lot of high school kids in Korea. They all tell me, "Oh, what is your dream? What do you want to be?" And they all say, "Oh, I want to make a lot of money." Who do you want to get married? Anybody who has a 10억 이상. So it's kind of sad because everybody's so obsessed with being rich and make a lot of money. But yeah. We see, like you probably see a lot too. A lot of there are a lot of broken families with a lot of money and success in their lives. So we have to be very, very careful. We have to be very careful, and we have to know what we want. We have to know what we want. Then, a lot of kids come to me and ask me, I don't know what to do in my future. I don't know what God wants me to do. I pray, but it seems like He's not answering. Yes? My parents want me to become a doctor, but I wanted to become a writer. And my parents say, oh, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to make a living out of writing, so you have to be a doctor. And some kids go to medical school. Some kids go to become a lawyer, go to law school. But think about it. Right now, it's really critical moments in your, maybe like at the age of, some of you are very young here, I see that you are like middle school, right? And, yeah. Yeah, thanks. And let me ask you this question first. This is the question that I had in my mind in my high school time, the middle school time, and the university. Let me ask you this question. All the things that are happening in this world, all the success, let's say, all the success comes from God or not? All the success comes from God? Raise your hands, please. All the success, some success, they do not come from God. Raise your hands. Yes? It's fine. Okay, Bill Gates. He made a lot of money. Is he Christian? Igoni, you know, right? Is the CEO of Samsung. Is he a Christian? No. You're right. Warren Buffett. Is he a Christian? No. I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe not. But as far as I know, he's not. Brazilian soccer team, the world best. Are they Christians? They pray hard? They play better? They pray, they play better? Maybe not. It was kind of, for me, like when I was in high school, and my father was starting a church, and I had this question: why do I even have to pray? Because seems like a lot of my friends who never go to church, who never prays, they do much better than I do in many aspects. And I was thinking, that was kind of odd. We go to church every Sunday, and these successful people seem never knew God. And I asked my mother about this, and my mother said, that's because that's because she always had this very 이해가 안 가는 answer를 줬어요. 그냥 천국이 더 중요한 거라고. Afterlife is more important than the life that you're living right now. 근데 that was not an answer to me. And okay. This is here. I have a pen in my hand. If I let it go, what will happen? It will drops. It will drop, right? If I pray hard, God, please, if you are alive, please do not drop it. If I pray hard, it will drop slower. No, it will drop the same. Why? Because of the gravity, right? Things happen, and the successes happen because of two different reasons. Two different reasons. One is called divine intervention. Number two is natural principle. Divine intervention is something like miracle, something like this. Sometimes we call it a miracle. Like you have a cancer. My imubu had a cancer, and he really prayed hard, and all the family got together, prayed every day, and his cancer was gone after like 6 weeks. Yes, it was a miracle that my family had experienced. But anyway, it doesn't happen very often. It's called divine intervention. And the other one is called natural laws. In natural law, something like gravity, who made this natural law? God has made this natural law. This natural law applies only Christians? No. it applies to non-Christians. Christians, it doesn't care if you're a Christian or not. It applies to all. And that's the thing. With the Samsung, with Microsoft, with Apples, they could become successful because of natural laws. They were very, very smart people. They knew how to do the numbers. They knew how to invent brilliant, creative things. And it actually, but what's the difference between Christian as us and them? The difference was that we know where the natural laws came from. They don't know where it's coming from. So we know where to thank. They don't know where to thank. We know that this gravity came from God, so we glorify Him. And if you attain something with a natural law, maybe it's not divine intervention. 그게 우리가 감사를 적게 돌려야 하는 이유가 되나요? No. Right? It's something that we also can be very thankful of. You work hard, you earn it, but all the natural laws, 그 가운데 만드신 건 하나님이기 때문에 우리는 그거를 기억하면서 하나님께 감사를 디바인 인터벤션에 의해서 기도응답 받은 건 더 큰 감사를, 열심히 한 거는 덜 감사를이 아니라 이런 모든 우리가 살아가는 이런 법칙들, 1 더하기 1은 2 뭐 이런 법칙들 밑에서 하나님께서 만드신 이런 법칙들을 하나님께 같이 감사할 수 있어야 된다는 거. 그럴 때 우리는 항상 감사하고 기도할 수 있거든요. 우리가 살아갈 때, as we live our life and we choose which directions that we want to go, it's important to pray, but it's also very, very important natural law. There's very, very important natural law. You have to ask a lot of questions. You have to ask a lot of questions to yourself. Do I want this? Is this going to make my life happier? Is this the right choice? Where is it leading to? Do I want to live this life? It's a very, very simple question. And if you don't ask questions, you started to get used to sufferings. You started to get used to sufferings. 힘든 거를 익숙하게 받아들이기 시작하고 익숙해짐 속에서 그냥 살아. But once you deny to get used to suffering, you start to ask questions. How am I going to live my life differently? That time, when I first started 시원스쿨.com, I asked myself, how can I live my life without teaching? How can I make money without teaching? I didn't have to be successful because it didn't require a lot for me to become happy. I just needed some money. I was working hard, and actually I look back and now and I'm thinking, I worked hard to be lazy. Yes, you know what I mean? I worked hard in the beginning. I worked hard to be lazy. I worked hard not to work. So I ended up working, but I was a much happier person because I had a dream of not working. If you don't give up pursuing happiness in your life, someday you will find one. If you continually ask a question to yourself, to your life, if you continually ask God many different questions, you will start to find your path. A lot of young people these days quit on finding happiness. 그냥 던져요, 이렇게. 뭐 될 대로 되겠지. 이거나 저거나. 이거를 해도 저걸 해도 똑같지 뭐. 뭐 다들 저렇게 하니까. Everybody's going that way, so why not me? So 그래서 다들 그렇게 가는데 행복을 찾는 거를 포기하면 안 돼요. 행복을 계속 찾아가는 그 질문들을 절대 어떤 순간이 왔을 때도 놓으면 안 돼요. 내가 행복할 수 있을 거라는 꿈, 내가 훨씬 더 행복한 삶을 살 수 있을 거라는 꿈, 지금 행복하지만 내 미래에 나는 더 행복한 삶을 살 수 있을 거라는 그런 꿈을 놓지 않는 우리 친구들이 되었으면 좋겠어요. 행복은 그냥 오지 않아요. 생각하고 고민하는 사람들. 그리고 끊임없이 그 행복한 삶을 향해서 나가는 사람. In the beginning of my marriage, I had a lot of fight with my wife. Because we grew up in a different family, we had a lot of different thoughts. 근데 내가 만약에 아내를 나한테 복종시키는 게 목적, 내가 이기는 게 목적이라고 하면 아내랑 계속 싸웠을 거예요. 근데 나는 행복해지는 게 내 삶의 목적이지. 그러니까 계속 고민하는 거야. I try to understand my wife. Because I knew that with unhappy wife, I would never be happy. 그렇죠? 그렇기 때문에 I had to keep throwing a question to myself. 어떻게 하면 내 아내를 더 이해할 수 있을까? 내가 어떻게 하면 내 아내 행복해서 나도 같이 행복해질 수 있을까? 우리가 지금 이 시점에서 진로에 대해서 되게 많은 고민들을 할 때 저는 그렇게 얘기해주고 싶어요. 많은 질문하고 You have to read 다른 사람들 그런 바이오그래피 같은 거 많이 읽어요. 많이 경험해서 You have to find out about yourself. And 그런 길 가운데서 우리가 정말 창조주 하나님과의 관계를 튼튼히 하고 간다고 하면 우리 어떤 곳에 있어도 괜찮을 거라고. Some of you here have a lot of problems with your parents. That's very normal. I travel 4 to 5 times a year to this Kosta, like New Zealand, Australia, Philippines, US, here Canada. And I talk to a lot of kids and they all come to me and they tell me about the problems with their parents. 그리고 그런 것이 되게 자기를 힘들게 하는데 it's normal. 아무도 되게 부모님하고 좋은 관계가 있다는 티네이저를 저는 많이 못 만나는 것 같아요. maybe 있을 수 있는데 very few. 그러니까 그런 거 그냥 당연하게 받아들이고 이러니까 내가 티네이저구나. 쿨하게 받아들이고 계속해서 여러분들의 고민들과 생각들에 저희는 갔으면 좋겠어요. 마지막으로 한 가지만 얘기할게요. Thinking하고 worrying은 다릅니다. When you try to solve math problems, do you think or do you worry? You worry? Yeah. Worrying never solves the problem. Only thinking solves the problem. Worrying하고 thinking은 they are two different things. Worrying never helps. Thinking helps. 생각 많이 하고 질문 많이 하는 여러분들 됐으면 좋겠어요. 자, 그럼 제가 기도하고 이 시간 마치도록 하겠습니다. 하나님 감사합니다. 짧은 시간이었지만 이 시간에 또 제가 살아온 삶들 가운데서 느꼈었던 것들, 생각했었던 것들 아이들하고 많이 나누게 됐는데 너무 포괄적으로 해서 얼마나 아이들에게 도움이 될 수 있을지는 잘 모르겠습니다. 하지만 하나님 제가 하는 부분은 한 부분이니 하나님 정말 이 아이들 또 남은 코스타 기간 동안 이 코스타가 끝나고 나서의 교회에서의 체험 정말 주님과의 관계들을 통해서 풍성한 삶을 향해서 정말 주님께서 기뻐하시는 그런 삶을 향해서 가는 우리 아이들이 되게 하여 주시옵소서. 정말 많이 축복해 주시옵소서. 정말 이렇게 바쁜 시간들 가운데도 이거 포스타까지 시간을 내서 온 아이들인데 오늘 저녁 때 더 큰 힘을 부어주시고 정말 주님 사랑 많이 느낄 수 있는 그런 시간들을 해주시옵소서. 주님 감사합니다. 예수님 이름으로 기도드렸습니다. 감사합니다.